That day started out great. I think it was around 10 a.m. when I came over to his place, and then we headed up to the mountains and we were filming his Scuderia. Quite the car, super loud. Seb was shooting his return to YouTube after his vocal cord operation. It was like this cloudy, foggy mist. So me and Erwan looked at each other, we're like, hey, this is perfect for the drone. Let's get some good shots. And yeah, overall it was like the perfect setting for what we were trying to do. I was holding this 3-meter carbon fiber wobbly stick out of the car as Seb is sending it. Trying not to drop the camera or hit the car or fall out the car. So that was really exciting. I had a great morning.
That's the show.
C'est super léger.
Where's the door?
Là. Dans le...
Woo! My hands are...
So we wrapped up the shoot with Seb, came back down into Monaco, had lunch at his place. It was all planned pretty quickly as well. I think it was the night before, or maybe 2 days before, I was talking to Seb about filming these different action shots that I had in mind. I think I replied to Flavien's story saying like sick shot or amazing board. And he was like, hey, I'm going with Ayo next to the Monte Carlo Bay tomorrow if you want to join. We're gonna be doing some shots of the Esurf R. I was like, 100% count me in. Both plans were pretty like tight to make happen, so it was actually perfect. We got back to Seb's at around 2. By 3, I had to be on the beach, so within 30 minutes I left Seb's, went home, packed the bag with the wetsuit and the cameras and everything. I cycled down to the beach, met up with the guys and helped them unload the van, and off we went. It had been, I think, 2 years since I had tried the first generation e-surf, so I was excited from the get-go. The first time I did it, I was like, bro, this is insane. This is like the future. It's ridiculous. From the first day, I was like, this is incredible. This is like probably, after surfing, my favorite board sport ever. I don't know, you're flying on top of the water with like this all black carbon fiber board. I just imagine if people 100 or 200 years ago were to see us, be like, yo, year 3000 right there, you know? You're like flying above the water. You just feel like you're pulling a Jesus. It's quite the feeling. There's no visible changes compared to the first model that I tried, but I know for a fact that they had done so much work in R&D. They've changed the jet pump, they've changed the hole where the motor goes, electric battery, so it's super sustainable. Their in-house motor was developed again with higher torque and more constant power, which I felt immediately compared to the first model. I remember, I think it was during the turns or something, you felt like the power was coming out, not off, but like you could feel the variations as you got off the water. Whereas this one, it was just like constant.
Guys, the craziest thing, this thing is rapid, and I'm in medium. I'm not even in the fast mode. This is insane. Not so medium after all. Woo!
I tried doing the circle, which I wasn't really good at, and I felt the difference immediately. Like the power was there if you needed it, you know? I've tried a few other brands of electric surfboards, and the specs are more or less the same, but for the Esurf R you have 45 minutes of battery life. 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in, I can bet you're gonna feel your back leg. I don't think it needs more than that anyways. Top speed, 64 kilometers per hour. I don't think I would want it to go faster. When you have the high mode, full speed, it's just like perfect. You're just like flying above the water on a calm day, and I think any more than that, I don't see the necessity.
You got this pretty badass speed gun or remote control. I don't know what the right terminology is to use. Well, it's full carbon A, and you have special FCS fins, but like unlike usual. Sorry, I'm like trying to talk like while I'm not drowning, but there aren't like any fins I've seen on a board, surfboard, so it's pretty interesting, and it really holds. Like compared to Generation 1, Generation 2 holds much better.
Overall weight of the board is 25 kilos, including the battery, which is 15 kilos. And charging time 2.5 hours, which is pretty good. I had already done the Esurf R for 30-35 minutes at this point, so I was pretty beat, but I was still pumped to go for more. We saw this police boat from the Police Maritime out on the horizon testing out this like water spray. I didn't really know what it was doing, but it looked pretty cool. So I looked at Flavien, and Flavien looked at me, and he said, yo, let's go now. So he picked up the board, he like taught me this new like takeoff technique, which I didn't think I would be able to do. And off we went, full power. Within like 2 minutes and like 13 seconds, we were there. So it just goes to show you how cool this board is. Like one moment you're at the beach, and then next minute you pull a Jesus and boom, you're out like in front of a boat. So as we're doing the approach, I was scared that they were gonna like scream at us or like, you know, tell us to leave or put the sirens on or something. So I start like swerving left, right, like big turns to see if there were gonna be any problems. They started waving at us. So we pulled up on their port side, and at the first pass, I didn't know how strong the water curtain was. So I tried to go on the exterior of it. It felt really cool. So I looked at Fabien, I'm like, yo, let's go again. So we turn around and then boom, past it, look up, I was like, wow, this is sick. There was one point I remember very clearly. I just passed the cap of Monte Carlo Bay, so I could see all of Monaco. And I looked up and I was like, wow, like this thing is amazing. B, like what is this day? Shooting with Seb's Ferrari in the morning, and now where I'm doing like one of the things that I love to do the most. So I was just super grateful. I was like, wow, what a perfect day. Having so much fun, and pretty sure that all the shots we were getting were pretty cool too. So yeah, I was stoked. So once we pull out of the police, I looked at Flavien and we said, let's go behind La Vigie to where there's some rocks. It'll be nice to get some shots there. So boom, full send, tack.
Thank you! Call the cops, oh shit!
Yeah, from one moment to the next, like that, everything can change. I can't remember exactly what had happened, but I remember I fell forwards. I think I hit a bump or my leg was tired or whatever reason. I fell unconscious for about 3-4 seconds, but then I saw in the video like my legs start kicking. I think right before Flavien grabs me, so that's already a good sign. I had my eyes open, I was a bit dizzy, but I'm like, wait, like this took longer than the normal falls, you know? Obviously he didn't expect me to fall. If anything, it's sort of my fault that I fell out of the blue. As I was resurfacing, Flavien obviously couldn't see because of the white water, nor did he have the time to react. And it's not like he was too close, and he should not be that close to me because we had been doing that for half an hour. The exact same scenario. I was behind him, he was behind me. I had done this exact type of like shooting, I don't know, like 6-7 times before, and nothing had happened. So it's not like, you know, it's not like we were doing something new or risking more. I think it was just a crazy case of really, really bad luck. I don't know, destiny, whatever you want to call it. The trajectory of the board was gonna pass over my head regardless. But I knew something was wrong a bit because Flavien was carrying me to his board and he was like super like stressed out, freaking out, obviously. And I remember asking him like, yo, what happened? And then he started telling me like, you have a cut to the side of your head. But he didn't want to tell me how big it was because he didn't want to freak me out with a reason. And I remember telling him like, okay, like fuck, this ruined the day, but like I'll go back with my board. He's like, no, you can't leave the board here. He's like, fuck the board, let's go. I got you, don't worry, blah blah. And then I was like, shit, okay, well this there's something that he doesn't want to tell me, like this must be bad. But I didn't have any pain whatsoever. I think obviously all the adrenaline and the shock. I was actually not laughing, but I was talking with Flavien normally, super conscious. And I remember saying, fuck, like this ruined the day. Like the perfect day has been ruined. This day is gonna take a turn now. I didn't expect it to take such a big turn as it did. At this point, I think I'm super bad with distances, but I think we're about 500 meters or 600 meters from the beach. Flavien puts me on his board. He's got about 13% left, thankfully. Going full power with both of us. I was talking with him, I was trying to see how much I was bleeding. I was asking how big the cut was, and then when he told me it was bigger than that, I was like, shit, okay. I wasn't actually worried at the time because I was conscious. I didn't have any pain. I could see the beach we were going back to, like everything seemed okay. Drone shows up, Flavien's like, bro, call the ambulance. Obviously they can't hear it through the drone, but they saw the sign. So by the time that I got back to the beach, it only took about 2 minutes for the ambulance to arrive. Still without pain or shock, I was pretty calm. When I got back to the beach is when I started realizing, okay, there's a bit too much blood here, like something's gone wrong, but I feel okay. At no point was I like scared of, you know, the worst or something. So yeah, overall I was in pretty good spirits at the time, considering. The ambulance came like super quick. They put me down. I started talking to them normally, like bonjour, excusez-moi, like I actually said like sorry for having an accident. So the paramedics are there trying to stop the bleeding. They're unable to do so. AO was filming, and I remember like pulling a shaka and a smile to AO. So they have to bring a doctor and another ambulance from the hospital to see what's the best way of transporting me. So I'm in the ambulance. There's this lady trying to shove like a needle in my arm as the ambulance is going over speed bumps, and she's like screaming at him, "Oh, va doucement, like go slowly." A guy on my left trying to stop the bleeding, so he's putting pressure at a point where I'm like, yo, that actually hurts now, it didn't hurt before. Get to the emergency room, there's like 15 people around at that point, and that's when the surgeon came and they put local anesthesia. I was at this point okay, I was talking lucidly to them at this point, still in the wetsuit. I remember there was this nurse who asked like Tu y tiens à la combinaison, like, do you care about the wetsuit? Before I could even answer, there was another nurse, a male nurse, who answered like, of course he cares about it. It's like 600 euros per wetsuit, like don't cut it. That's actually like 200 bucks, but whoever that was, merci beaucoup. That's when they said, like you have a cut open artery. I was like, oh shit, okay. Then they start like sewing it back up the artery. It was 2 cut open arteries, but at the time I thought it was 1. And then I remember asking like, oh, like is it finished? And he's like, no, that was just the internal one. Now we have to like close up the full wound. As soon as the arteries were sewn back together, I don't know if it's like the adrenaline coming down and the blood flow like getting back into the rhythm of things. I started feeling like super nauseous and super sick. And I remember asking for water. I'm like, je peux avoir de l'eau s'il vous plaît? They were like, no, like you need to be with an empty stomach in case we need to do anything else. I was like, fuck. Like I've just got out of the sea, just had an injury, like I'm super thirsty and I'm nauseous, like please give me water. They're like, no. I'm like, okay, shit. I look over and I said like, move, puked everywhere. I said sorry. They were like, it's totally normal. As soon as I puked, basically, I felt like so much better, like immediately, like instantly. And so after that, yeah, they said, okay, we gotta take you for an MRI. Take me to the MRI, still in the wetsuit, go back to the emergency room, I'm waiting. So yeah, so I'm in the emergency room waiting for the MRI results. Doctor comes in.
So the doctor just came in and said that somehow, une chance de surfeur, that everything's fine on the MRI. My brain is all good.
The face of surprise, he looks at me, he goes, surfer's luck, you have nothing. You're all good internally. We'll keep you for checks just because you've had a head trauma injury, so we're just gonna keep you overnight, but like, you're fine, everything's working, you have nothing to worry about, basically. I was like, okay, great, thank you so much. Like, I was pretty calm throughout the whole thing. I hadn't realized exactly how big the cut was or how serious the injury was or how worse things could have gone. I remember telling him like, hey, I'm okay, like no problem, sans souci, like I'm okay, please don't freak out. Like, I know I've had just an injury, but like, whatever it is, how bad it is, I feel okay, I'm in no pain, like, please don't worry. I went back to the room, started calling my parents and
Bonsoir.
And just told them, don't worry, I'm fine, like everything's fine, there's no problem whatsoever, you know, this happens. I don't want people to look at this and be like, of course you're gonna get injured, you're going 64 kilometers per hour, or of course you're gonna get injured, you're not wearing a helmet, or of course you're gonna get run over by a board, like you asked for it, like this is a stupid sport. No, not at all. The nurses were asking me like, so will you do it again? I was like, I can't wait to do it again. If I could go in the water today, because I still have the stitches so I can't go in the water, but if I could go today, I would. I think it's super important to know, in any sport you have risks like this. Like I have friends who have had really bad scars in skiing. They were run over by a ski. So I think it's just important to accept that in any extreme sport, you have these accidents that happen. It is a risk, but I don't want it to hurt the sport nor the brand, because e-surf's board, I swear to God, like it's incredible what they've done. It feels like surfing on one turn, then it feels like snowboarding on the other, and then like you're going 64 kilometers per hour and the board is like actually quite stable, you know, like you're flying above the water, but it's there, it's straight, it's not going anywhere. Like a lot of people are gonna see this and be like, oh, I don't want to try that sport, like look how bad that is. Like no, I don't know how to convince you, but I'm here to tell you, this is a freak accident. It's 1 in a million, but I don't want this to make someone not want to try this board or this sport, because as I said before, I think it's probably one of the coolest things I've ever done in my life. It's a freak accident, it's no one's fault, it was, you know, it happens in any extreme sports. You have these risks, which, you know, we calculate at the most to avoid, and it was just one of those things of life, for whoever knows what reason. The trajectory was set. If anything, he had the best reaction ever, actually. After he got off the board, got me on, knew the situation, like everything was handled super professionally, I think. The things that this allows you to do, just you're flying over the ocean, you're carving like you're in powder, you can go explore a boat from, you know, the different edges of the country, per se. I have a lot of friends who told me, okay, so now basta, right? Like you got your message. It definitely was a little wake-up call in being more careful and and understanding more of these risks, but if anything, it's only going to push me to do more. It's made me realize exactly what I like and who I am and what I want to do with my life. Super unlucky and extremely lucky at the same time. So yeah, overall I had a pretty crazy experience, but I had a great time whilst doing it. And I just wanted to say thank you to everyone at the hospital. I mean, they took super good care of me. I didn't feel worried at all at any point, because I felt like I was in great hands, and I know that I was. And again, I just want to say huge thank you to Esurf, huge thank you to Flavien for everything that you've done. I know that you're freaking out inside, but as I said, it's no one's fault, it's a freak accident. I think it's one of the craziest revolutions of our lifetime, and I'm super happy to be alive when products like this can come out, and when I'm able to try it and have fun while I'm doing it. And you know, riding around that police boat, you wouldn't be able to do that in any other circumstance. If we showed up with the boat, they would like radio us off. Thank you to the police maritime for letting us do that. That was a super good experience. I think you should try it for yourself before you judge, or you think it's too dangerous, or you think you know, you're scared of this happening to you. But it's part of the game. That's why I wasn't really annoyed even at the hospital the night of. I remember at the hospital when they were pulling me into my room, I didn't have my phone or anything because the guys had everything. And one of the ladies is like, "Are you Mr. Brito?" But yeah, sure. I was like, "Oh, here are your things." And she told me that the guys tried to sneak in like a steak and shake burger milkshake combo for me, but since they didn't know if I could eat that night, they said, he can't have it. So they said, well, you made a secretary very, very happy. In my bag, they had sneaked in like, what was it? Like a Kinder Max, a Kinder Egg. So thanks a lot for that, guys. I really enjoyed those, and I think I needed it. I'm happy to say that I'm fine, totally fine, as normal, and I can't wait to get back out there again. Thanks a lot for tuning in. I hope to share some projects I have lined up with you in the near future without any injuries this time. Thanks a lot. Ciao.